Hello and welcome, dreamers and spiritual seekers. Today we're exploring one of the most exhilarating experiences our sleeping minds can conjure, the sensation of flying. Those magnificent dreams where gravity releases its hold, where we drift upward or soar with purpose through endless skies. Flying dreams have captivated human imagination since time immemorial, appearing in ancient texts, spiritual traditions, and modern psychological theories alike. They represent something fundamental about our desire to transcend limitations, to break free from constraints, and to experience the world from a higher perspective. Have you ever awakened with the lingering sensation of flight still tingling through your body? That marvelous feeling of weightlessness, of absolute freedom, of seeing the world from above? If so, you're participating in one of humanity's most universal dream experiences. Flying dreams hold a special place in our dream landscape. Unlike nightmares that leave us shaken or confusing dreams that fade quickly upon waking, flying dreams often stay with us. We remember the sensation, the exhilaration, the peculiar physics of dream flight that somehow feels entirely natural while we're experiencing it. These dreams cut across cultural boundaries and historical epochs. They appear in the dream journals of people from all walks of life, suggesting they touch something fundamental in human consciousness. Today, we're going to dive deep into what these extraordinary dream experiences might mean for your spiritual journey, your psychological well-being, and your waking life. Understanding dream symbolism is always a nuanced endeavor. No single interpretation fits every dreamer's experience. Instead, we need to examine flying dreams through multiple lenses: historical, psychological, spiritual, and personal. What does it mean when you, specifically you, with your unique life circumstances and spiritual path, dream of flying? By the end of our exploration today, you'll have the tools to interpret your own flying dreams with greater clarity and purpose. Let's begin our journey by acknowledging the remarkable universality of flying dreams. Archaeological evidence shows that humans have been recording and interpreting flying dreams for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians documented flying dreams in hieroglyphic texts, often associating them with the soul's journey and spiritual ascension. In ancient China, Taoist practitioners viewed flying dreams as signs of spiritual advancement, evidence that the dreamer was developing abilities to separate consciousness from the physical body. The Greek philosopher Artemidorus, who wrote extensively about dream interpretation in the 2nd century CE, suggested that flying dreams indicated changes in social status and fortune. Across the Pacific, many indigenous North American traditions regarded flying dreams as sacred experiences, potentially revealing one's spirit animal or providing access to ancestral wisdom. This cross-cultural fascination with flying dreams continues into our modern era. Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, considered flying dreams to represent the transcendence of limitations, both psychological and spiritual. For Jung, when we fly in dreams, we're experiencing the freedom of the self from the constraints of the ego. Sigmund Freud, while more focused on physiological and sexual interpretations, nevertheless recognized flying dreams as powerful expressions of wish fulfillment and liberation from social constraints. Contemporary dream researchers have noted that flying dreams often occur during periods of personal transition or transformation, suggesting they might be connected to our brain's processing of change and adaptation. What makes flying dreams so universally compelling? Perhaps it's because flight represents a fundamental human desire, to overcome our physical limitations, to transcend our earthbound nature. We are, after all, the only flightless mammals who build flying machines and consistently dream of soaring through the air under our own power. There's something deeply embedded in human consciousness that yearns for the freedom that flight represents. Now, let's explore one of the most common spiritual interpretations of flying dreams, the symbol of freedom and liberation. At its core, flight represents freedom from constraints, not just physical ones, but emotional, psychological, and spiritual limitations as well. When you dream of flying, your subconscious might be celebrating a breakthrough you've recently experienced in your waking life. Perhaps you've freed yourself from a toxic relationship, left a stifling job, overcome a long-standing fear, or broken through creative blocks that were holding you back. The exhilaration of dream flight often mirrors the liberation we feel when we finally break free from something that has been weighing us down. Alternatively, your flying dream might not be celebrating freedom already achieved, but rather pointing toward a deep desire for liberation that you haven't yet fulfilled. Consider what areas of your life feel restrictive right now. Do you feel trapped in certain circumstances? Are there expectations, either external or self-imposed, that feel like shackles on your spirit? Flying dreams can serve as powerful indicators that your soul is yearning for more freedom and space to express itself authentically. The quality and characteristics of your dream flight can offer additional insights. If your flying is effortless and graceful, this often reflects confidence and self-assurance in your waking life. You may be in a period where you feel capable of overcoming obstacles with ease, where your natural talents are finding expression, where you're in flow with the universe's currents. Smooth flying suggests harmony between your conscious goals and your subconscious desires. You're not fighting yourself on your path. But what if your flying is labored or difficult? Many dreamers report struggling to stay airborne, having to flap their arms vigorously, or repeatedly losing altitude and having to fight to regain height. These challenging flying dreams often correspond to obstacles you're encountering in your waking life, or doubts you harbor about your own abilities. They might indicate that while you desire freedom and transcendence, something is holding you back. Perhaps it's self-doubt, fear of success, or practical challenges that seem insurmountable. Rather than seeing these difficult flying dreams as negative, consider them as valuable feedback from your subconscious, highlighting areas where you might need to direct attention, healing, or resources. Some dreamers report a particular variation, flying dreams where they can only achieve low altitudes, skimming just above the ground. This intriguing dream pattern might suggest you're beginning a process of liberation but haven't yet fully committed to the journey. You're testing your wings, so to speak, not yet ready to soar to the heights that might be possible. This could reflect a prudent approach to change, taking things step by step, or it might indicate some hesitation about fully embracing your potential. Only you can determine which interpretation resonates more deeply with your current life circumstances. The environment through which you fly in your dreams can provide additional context for interpretation. Flying over familiar landscapes, your hometown, your current city, places from your childhood, often connects to your processing of personal history and identity. You're gaining perspective on your life story, seeing connections and patterns that might not be visible from ground level. Flying over unfamiliar or fantastical landscapes, on the other hand, might represent exploration of the unknown aspects of yourself or your future possibilities. Your dream mind is literally expanding your horizons, showing you that there's more to discover beyond your current experience. Weather conditions during your dream flight also carry symbolic significance. Flying through clear, blue skies suggests clarity of purpose and emotion. Navigating through storms or challenging weather might reflect your resilience in the face of emotional turbulence. Emerging from clouds into brilliant sunshine can symbolize breakthrough moments of insight after periods of confusion or uncertainty. Pay attention to these environmental details in your flying dreams. They're not random backdrops but meaningful aspects of the dream's message. Let's shift our perspective now to explore flying dreams as expressions of spiritual transcendence. Across numerous spiritual traditions, upward movement in dreams is associated with spiritual elevation, awakening, and connection to higher consciousness. When you dream of flying, particularly if you're ascending toward light, stars, or celestial bodies, this may reflect your soul's journey toward enlightenment or divine connection. Such dreams are especially common during periods of spiritual seeking, during or after profound meditation experiences, or following spiritual breakthroughs. In many mystical traditions, flying dreams are considered signs of spiritual advancement. Sufi mystics have long interpreted such dreams as indications that the soul is learning to temporarily detach from the physical body, a skill they call soul flight, that is cultivated through spiritual practice. Similarly, in various Buddhist traditions, flying dreams may be seen as reflections of progress in meditation practice, particularly as the practitioner begins to experience the spaciousness and freedom of mind that comes with deep meditation. Some yogic traditions view flying dreams as activation of the upper chakras, especially the crown chakra that connects us to universal consciousness. Flying dreams often increase in frequency during periods of spiritual awakening or transformation. If you've recently begun a meditation practice, changed your spiritual path, experienced a Kundalini awakening, or gone through a profound shift in consciousness, you might notice more flying dreams appearing in your night life. These dreams can serve as confirmations that your spiritual work is bearing fruit, your consciousness is quite literally rising to new heights of awareness. They can also provide encouragement to continue your practices, showing you glimpses of the freedom and perspective that come with spiritual development. The direction of your flight carries particular significance in spiritual interpretations. Upward flight, ascending toward the heavens, most directly symbolizes spiritual elevation and the soul's yearning to connect with higher realms of consciousness. Horizontal flight, moving across landscapes rather than upward, often represents spiritual exploration, the soul journeying to gather wisdom and experience. Diving flight, where you plunge downward before pulling up again, can symbolize the necessary descent into shadow aspects of self that precede spiritual transformation. Each direction offers its own wisdom about your spiritual journey. Some flying dreams take on particularly numinous or mystical qualities. You might find yourself flying among stars, through dimensions of geometric light, or into realms that feel intensely sacred or transcendent. These extraordinary flying dreams often correlate with spiritual openings or what theologian Rudolf Otto called mysterium tremendum et fascinans, the experience of divine mystery that is simultaneously terrifying and fascinating. If you've experienced such dreams, you may have awakened with a sense of having touched something ineffable, something beyond ordinary reality. These dreams can be profound gifts, offering glimpses of expanded consciousness that nourish your spiritual path for years to come. Flying dreams can also reflect what spiritual teachers call witness consciousness, the capacity to observe your life from a place of higher awareness rather than being entirely identified with your circumstances. When you fly in dreams, you gain perspective on the landscape below. Things that seem enormous and overwhelming when you're standing on the ground appear manageable, even small, from the air. This shift in perspective is a powerful metaphor for spiritual awareness. Just as the flying dreamer sees the bigger picture of the landscape, the awakening soul begins to see the bigger picture of life, recognizing patterns, understanding the interconnectedness of events, and developing trust in the larger unfolding of existence. This perspective shift is not just metaphorical but practical. Flying dreams often come during periods when we need to step back from immediate problems and view our circumstances with greater objectivity. Your subconscious mind may be offering you the gift of elevated perspective precisely when you need it most, when you're too close to a situation to see it clearly, when you're caught in repetitive thinking patterns, or when you're missing important connections between different aspects of your life. The bird's-eye view of flying dreams invites you to reframe challenging situations, look beyond immediate obstacles, and trust in your capacity to rise above difficulties. Consider keeping a special section in your dream journal specifically for flying dreams. Note not just the fact that you were flying, but the quality of the experience. How high did you fly? What was the sensation like? What emotions accompanied your flight? What was happening in your life when the dream occurred? Over time, you may notice patterns emerging, particular types of flying dreams that correlate with specific life circumstances or spiritual states. This personal dream dictionary becomes invaluable for understanding your unique dream language. Let's explore now the various styles of flight that appear in dreams, as each carries its own symbolic resonance. One common variation is flying with wings, either your own wings that have mysteriously grown from your body, or with the wings of birds, angels, or mythical creatures. Flying with wings often connects to feelings of angelic protection or divine guidance. It might indicate that you feel supported by higher powers or that your spiritual practices are awakening new aspects of your soul's potential. Wings and spiritual symbolism frequently represent messages from divine realms. Think of Hermes with his winged sandals carrying messages between gods and humans, or angels serving as divine messengers. If wings feature prominently in your flying dreams, consider what messages might be trying to reach you from deeper or higher aspects of consciousness. Many dreamers report flying without any visible means, simply floating, gliding, or propelling themselves through willpower alone. This style of flight frequently relates to personal empowerment and self-sufficiency. Your subconscious is highlighting your inherent capabilities, reminding you that you possess the internal resources to elevate your life circumstances without necessarily needing external support. These dreams often come when we've been underestimating our own abilities or feeling overly dependent on others. They serve as powerful reminders that we carry within us the capacity to rise above challenges through our own inner resources. Other dreamers find themselves flying in vehicles or with devices, in airplanes, helicopters, hot air balloons, with jetpacks, or even with magical objects like flying carpets or broomsticks. Flying with technological or magical assistance might suggest you feel you need external support or tools to achieve elevation in your life. This isn't necessarily negative, we all need support systems and tools for growth. But it's worth reflecting on what these flying aids represent in your waking life. Are they empowering extensions of your capabilities, or have you become overly reliant on external systems rather than developing your innate potential? Some flying dreams involve supernatural or superhero-like flight abilities, similar to characters from myths, comics, or films. You might find yourself flying like Superman, or like a character from your favorite fantasy series. These dreams often connect to archetypal energies you're working with in your life, qualities of heroism, courage, or extraordinary capability that you're either expressing or longing to express. They might also reflect your connection to collective mythologies and stories that have shaped your imagination and values. Consider which flying heroes or supernatural beings appear in your dreams, and what qualities they embody that might be awakening within you. Particularly interesting are dreams where the method of flight shifts during the experience. You might start flying with technological assistance but then discover you can fly under your own power. Or you might begin with effortless flight that becomes increasingly difficult as the dream progresses. These shifts often parallel transitions happening in your waking life. Perhaps you're moving from dependence toward self-reliance, or encountering new challenges that test abilities you previously took for granted. Pay attention to these transitions in your flying dreams. They often contain nuanced messages about your evolving capabilities and challenges. Throughout history, flying dreams have been considered potentially prophetic, not necessarily predicting literal future events, but offering intuitive guidance about your path forward. The elevated perspective of flight allows your dreaming mind to process information that your conscious awareness hasn't fully integrated yet. You might notice patterns or connections from this higher viewpoint that were invisible from ground level. This is why flying dreams sometimes contain surprising insights or solutions to problems you've been struggling with. Pay particular attention to destinations you fly toward in dreams. Are you drawn to specific locations, people, or objects? These destinations often symbolize goals or potentials that are calling to your soul, even if your conscious mind hasn't fully recognized their importance yet. The emotional quality of these destinations matters too. Do they feel inviting and positive, or do you experience apprehension as you approach them? Your emotional response can provide clues about paths that will support your highest good versus those that might not serve your true purpose. People or places you observe while flying can offer additional insights. Sometimes flying dreams allow us to witness events or scenes that seem disconnected from our personal concerns, almost as if we're being shown information that has relevance beyond our individual lives. In some spiritual traditions, these observational flying dreams are interpreted as glimpses into collective patterns or even possible futures. While it's important not to become overly attached to literal interpretations of such dreams, the symbolic content might contain valuable wisdom about larger currents affecting your community, society, or spiritual group. Messages or insights that come to you while airborne in dreams deserve special attention. Many dreamers report receiving clear guidance, hearing distinct voices, or experiencing sudden realizations during flying dreams. The elevated state of consciousness represented by flight seems to create optimal conditions for receiving wisdom from deeper aspects of self-worth, depending on your spiritual framework, from guides, ancestors, or divine sources. If words or messages come to you during flying dreams, record them immediately upon waking, even if their meaning isn't immediately clear. Often these dream messages unfold their significance over time, revealing layers of wisdom as you continue your spiritual journey. Let's consider now how flying dreams relate to specific life transitions and spiritual milestones. Flying dreams frequently increase during major life transitions, career changes, relocations, relationship beginnings or endings, or significant shifts in identity. These dreams reflect your psyche's processing of change and possibility. The freedom of flight parallels the opening of new potential as you release old patterns and embrace new directions. If you're in the midst of significant life changes and experiencing more flying dreams than usual, your subconscious may be encouraging you to embrace the liberating aspects of transition rather than clinging to familiar but limiting circumstances. Spiritual awakening processes often trigger increased flying dreams as consciousness expands beyond previous boundaries. If you're experiencing what spiritual traditions variously call enlightenment, self-realization, cosmic consciousness, or Christ consciousness, flying dreams may accompany these profound shifts. They symbolize the soul's liberation from identification with limited ego structures and its recognition of its more expansive nature. Such dreams can provide confirmation of spiritual progress and offer symbolic maps of the territory you're exploring as consciousness awakens to itself. Kundalini awakenings, the activation and upward movement of spiritual energy through the chakra system, are particularly associated with flying dreams. As Kundalini energy rises from the base of the spine toward the crown chakra, dreams of ascension and flight often parallel this energetic movement. These dreams might feature spiraling flight patterns, movement along a central axis, or ascension through various colored realms corresponding to the chakras. If you're experiencing Kundalini symptoms in your waking life, energy sensations, spontaneous movements, heightened sensitivity, or altered states of consciousness, flying dreams might be part of this awakening process, helping to integrate and understand the energetic shifts occurring within your system. For those walking spiritual paths that involve ancestor work or shamanic practices, flying dreams may take on additional significance. In many indigenous traditions, the ability to fly in dreams is associated with soul travel, the capacity to journey beyond ordinary reality to communicate with ancestors, spirit helpers, or healing energies. If your spiritual practice involves these traditions, flying dreams might represent actual soul journeys rather than purely symbolic experiences. The specific landscapes, beings, or messages encountered during these dreams may contain guidance for your healing work or spiritual service in the community. Flying dreams also appear frequently during pregnancy and other periods of creating new life, whether that's gestating a child, a creative project, a business, or a new version of yourself. The expansive freedom of flight mirrors the expansiveness of bringing something new into being. These dreams often feature particularly buoyant, joyful flight, reflecting the life-generating energy flowing through you during creative periods. If you're in a phase of birthing something new and experience uplifting flying dreams, your subconscious may be confirming the alignment of this creative direction with your highest good. Let's explore some of the psychological dimensions of flying dreams, as these often intertwine with spiritual interpretations. From a psychological perspective, flying in dreams frequently relates to confidence, self-efficacy, and empowerment. When you can navigate the dream sky with ease, this often reflects healthy self-esteem and trust in your abilities. The sense of mastery that comes with skilled dream flight parallels the satisfaction of competence in waking life, knowing that you can meet challenges and navigate difficulties with grace. Developmental psychologists note that flying dreams often increase during adolescence and other periods of identity formation, when we're establishing our sense of agency and capability in the world. They may represent the psyche's rehearsal for independence and self-direction. As adults, these dreams often return during periods when we're stretching into new capabilities or taking on greater responsibilities. They serve as reminders from our deeper mind that we possess more strength and skill than we sometimes recognize consciously. Flying dreams can also function as psychological compensation for feelings of powerlessness or limitation in waking life. If you're experiencing circumstances where your choices are constrained or your power feels diminished, whether through illness, restrictive work conditions, challenging relationships, or societal limitations, flying dreams might emerge as psychic balance, offering experiences of freedom and agency that nourish your spirit during difficult times. Rather than mere escape fantasies, these compensatory flying dreams provide essential psychological sustenance, helping you maintain inner freedom even when external circumstances are constraining. The emotions accompanying flying dreams provide important clues for interpretation. While many flying dreams feature exhilaration and joy, others might include fear, anxiety, or even terror, particularly for those who fear heights in waking life or who encounter frightening scenarios during their aerial dream journeys. These challenging emotions don't necessarily negate the spiritual significance of flying dreams. Instead, they might indicate areas where you're being invited to expand beyond your comfort zone. The fear of heights in flying dreams often parallels fear of success, fear of fully expressing your potential, or fear of the responsibility that comes with elevated perspective and capability. Some dreamers report ambivalent flying experiences, initial fear that transforms into exhilaration once they surrender to the experience, or excitement that becomes anxious when they look down or think too much about the mechanics of flight. These mixed emotional states often reflect the natural ambivalence that accompanies growth and transformation. Part of you desires the freedom and expansion symbolized by flight, while another part fears the loss of security that comes with leaving the ground of familiar patterns and identities. Rather than seeing this ambivalence as an obstacle, recognize it as a natural part of any significant growth process. Let's consider some of the specific variations of flying dreams and their potential meanings. One common variation is the falling dream that transforms into flight. You might begin plummeting downward, experiencing the terror of free fall, only to discover at a crucial moment that you can fly and transform the descent into glorious ascent. These transformation dreams often come during periods of apparent failure or loss that ultimately lead to unexpected opportunities. They remind us that what initially seems like catastrophic downturn can become the catalyst for discovering new capabilities and directions. If you've experienced such dreams, reflect on circumstances in your life that initially appeared negative but ultimately led to positive transformation. Another variation involves flying with others, friends, family members, romantic partners, or sometimes groups of strangers who share your ability to fly. Collective flying dreams often relate to relationships and community. They might reflect harmonious connections where you and your loved ones are growing together, supporting each other's elevation and expansion. Alternatively, they might reveal tensions or imbalances. Perhaps you can fly more easily than your dream companions, or vice versa. These differences can symbolize different rates of growth or different approaches to freedom and transcendence among your real-life connections. Some flying dreams occur in response to physical sensations or environmental factors. The slight weightlessness experienced during deep sleep might trigger flying sensations, as might changes in temperature, circulation, or sleeping position. Even environmental sounds, the hum of a fan, distant traffic, or wind outside your window, can be incorporated into dreams as the whoosh of air during flight. While these physiological triggers don't diminish the potential spiritual significance of flying dreams, they remind us that our dream experiences emerge from the intersection of body, mind, and spirit, all three dimensions contributing to the dreamscape we navigate. Cultural and historical contexts also influence how we experience and interpret flying dreams. If you've grown up immersed in superhero stories, your flying dreams might feature elements from that mythology. If you've studied Taoist immortals who were said to achieve the ability to fly through spiritual practice, your dreams might incorporate those images and concepts. Indigenous dreamers from cultures with rich traditions of shamanic flight might experience flying dreams that connect explicitly to ancestral wisdom practices. The spiritual meaning of your flying dreams emerges within your specific cultural and biographical context, even as it touches universal human experiences of transcendence and freedom. For those interested in developing lucid dreaming skills, the ability to become consciously aware that you're dreaming while remaining in the dream state, flying dreams offer excellent opportunities for lucidity training. The unusual sensation of flight often triggers the realization, wait, I must be dreaming because people can't fly. This moment of recognition can be cultivated into full lucidity, where you maintain conscious awareness while continuing to explore the dream environment. Many lucid dreamers report that flying is one of the first and most enjoyable abilities they experiment with once they achieve lucidity. The freedom and control experienced in lucid flying dreams can transfer beneficial effects to waking consciousness, increasing confidence and creative problem-solving abilities. If you're interested in cultivating more flying dreams or enhancing your existing dream flight experiences, several practices may help. First, set clear intentions before sleep. As you drift toward sleep, visualize yourself flying effortlessly, feeling the sensation of air around your body and the freedom of movement in all directions. Repeat simple affirmations like, "Tonight I fly in my dreams," or "I become aware of flying and maintain lucidity." These pre-sleep suggestions can significantly increase the likelihood of flying dreams. Daytime practices can also enhance dream flight experiences. Spend time observing birds, airplanes, or even leaves and seeds being carried on the wind. Absorb the qualities of flight through your waking senses. You might also practice what dream researchers call perspective memory by regularly asking yourself during the day, "Am I dreaming now? Could I fly if I tried?" While the answer in waking reality is obviously no, this habitual questioning can carry over into dreams, triggering lucidity when the answer suddenly becomes yes. Physical practices that develop body awareness and subtle energy can support flying dreams as well. Yoga postures that open the heart and upper chakras, Tai Chi movements that cultivate lightness and flow, or dance forms that play with gravity and momentum can all create somatic experiences that translate into greater freedom in your dream flights. Even simple visualization exercises, imagining energy moving upward through your body from earth to sky, can create favorable conditions for flying dreams. For those with established meditation practices, certain visualization techniques can be particularly effective for cultivating meaningful flying dreams. As you enter a meditative state, imagine your consciousness expanding beyond your physical body, rising upward like mist or light. Without straining or forcing, allow the sensation of gentle ascension to develop naturally. This practice not only increases the likelihood of flying dreams but also cultivates the subtle body awareness that many spiritual traditions associate with more advanced stages of consciousness development. Let's turn our attention now to how you might work with your flying dreams as intentional tools for spiritual growth and psychological integration. One powerful approach is to establish a dialogue with your flying dreams through active imagination or journaling. After recording a flying dream, close your eyes and imaginatively return to the dream scenario. Ask questions of the dream itself. Why am I flying now? What are you showing me about my life path? What freedom am I being invited to embrace? Allow responses to emerge organically, without forcing or intellectualizing. The insights that arise through this gentle inquiry often have a different quality than analytical interpretation. They carry the numinous energy and wisdom of the dream itself. Another approach involves embodying the sensations and emotions of your flying dreams in waking life. Find quiet moments to close your eyes and recall the precise feeling of dream flight, the lightness, the freedom, the perspective. Allow those qualities to permeate your physical body, noticing how your breathing, posture, and energy shift as you embody the flying state. This practice can be especially beneficial during stressful periods, creating a physiological anchor to the freedom and expansiveness you experience in flying dreams. For those working with energy practices, flying dreams can reveal important information about your chakra system and energetic development. Dreams of labored flying or inability to gain altitude might reflect blockages in lower chakras that need attention before energy can flow freely upward. Conversely, dreams of effortless ascension might indicate balanced energy flow and chakra activation. By correlating your flying dreams with other signs of energetic development, sensations during meditation, emotional patterns, physical symptoms, you can develop a more comprehensive understanding of your subtle body's evolution. Creative expression offers another avenue for working with flying dreams. Consider capturing your dream flight experiences through drawing, painting, music composition, or movement. The act of translating nonverbal dream experiences into creative expression often reveals aspects of the dreams that were not initially apparent through verbal description alone. You might discover symbols, patterns, or emotional qualities that add new dimensions to your understanding of these dreams. Additionally, creative expression allows the energy and wisdom of flying dreams to flow into your waking life, influencing your consciousness even in ordinary states. Some spiritual traditions suggest that flying dreams can be intentionally developed into disciplined soul travel or out-of-body experiences. While the distinction between vivid flying dreams and actual out-of-body experiences remains an area of ongoing debate among researchers and practitioners, many traditions offer techniques for stabilizing and directing these experiences toward spiritual purposes. These practices generally involve developing deep concentration, clear intention, and ethical preparation before attempting to cultivate such experiences intentionally. If you feel drawn to explore this dimension of flying dreams, seeking guidance from established spiritual traditions with lineage-based expertise in these practices is recommended. As we near the conclusion of our exploration, let's consider the relationship between flying dreams and human evolutionary potential. Throughout history, visionaries and mystics have suggested that capacities currently experienced primarily in dreams or altered states, including the freedom from physical limitations represented by flying, might eventually become accessible in ordinary consciousness as humanity's spiritual evolution continues. From this perspective, flying dreams might be glimpses not just of personal potential but of collective evolutionary possibilities, previews of expanded capabilities that await as consciousness continues to develop beyond its current parameters. Whether or not one accepts such evolutionary hypotheses, flying dreams undoubtedly remind us that our consciousness is not entirely bound by physical limitations. In the dream state, we regularly transcend the constraints of gravity, physical laws, and linear time. This transcendence suggests that some aspect of our being exists beyond material constraints, that we are not merely physical bodies but consciousness capable of experiences that defy ordinary limitations. Flying dreams thus offer empirical, first-person evidence for the transpersonal dimensions of human experience that many spiritual traditions describe. Let's draw our exploration to a close by returning to the personal significance of your flying dreams. These extraordinary dream experiences are gifts from your deeper consciousness, windows into your spiritual nature, your untapped potential, your yearning for freedom and transcendence. By paying attentive, reverent attention to your flying dreams, you honor the wisdom they contain and open yourself to their transformative power. The next time you find yourself soaring through dreamscapes, approach the experience with curiosity and presence. Notice the quality of your flight, the landscapes below, the feeling in your dream body as you move through space. Allow yourself to fully inhabit the experience without analyzing it in the moment. Upon waking, record the details with as much sensory richness as you can recall, not just the visual elements but the bodily sensations, the emotions, the atmosphere of the dream. Over time, patterns will emerge, revealing the unique symbolic language through which your soul communicates through flight. Remember that the most meaningful interpretation will always be the one that resonates with your personal experience. While the frameworks we've explored today, psychological, spiritual, cultural, evolutionary, offer valuable perspectives, trust your own felt sense of what your flying dreams are communicating. Your inner knowing, cultivated through reflective attention to these dreams over time, is the most reliable guide to their significance in your unique life journey. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of flying dreams and their spiritual significance. I hope our journey together has given you new appreciation for these remarkable dream experiences and fresh insights into their meaning in your life. May your dreams continue to lift you to new heights of awareness, and may your spirit soar free both in sleeping and waking life. If you found value in today's exploration, please support this channel by liking this video and subscribing for more content on dream symbolism, spiritual development, and consciousness expansion. In the comments below, I'd love to hear about your most memorable flying dreams. What did they feel like? What insights did they bring you? Your experiences might help others understand their own dream journeys. For those interested in deepening your understanding of dream symbolism and developing greater dream recall, I've created a special meditation guide specifically designed to enhance dream awareness and meaning. You'll find the link in the description below. This simple daily practice can dramatically increase your ability to remember and work productively with all types of dreams, including those magnificent experiences of flight that we've explored today. Until we meet again in our next exploration, may your dreams be vivid, your insights profound, and your consciousness ever expanding. Sleep well, dream deeply, and soar freely, my friends.